And another one is like, hey, are you actually disabled? Like, so I'm gonna say, no, Sherlock. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on, guys. Like, how I can't walk. You know,
You're like, no, I just sat down here for the moment. Like, just needed to take a load off. It
I
felt like
love
the right thing to do.
it's what I want to do my entire life. You know.
I just got my third chair, and
Doug and I have been having this chairs issues.
and I guess this is new since I got the second one. But as I'm going through the process, they're asking me, "Well, you need to go to a wheelchair clinic," and I'm like, "A wheelchair clinic?" I mean, I've already had two. I've been disabled since I was a year old. I mean, what are they got what is happening? So I kind of figured out that they're not teaching me. At first I'm thinking they're going to teach me how to use a wheelchair, but I just realized it's fraud prevention. They want to get eyes on you, I guess, and make sure that you're.
They're like, Doug,
deserving.
Get up and get out of here.
Yeah, faker.
Yeah,
get out of here.
Right. And another thing is like people do look at us as like we're fake. If they see my legs move, they're like, oh, you can. Oh, no, that's just my body trying to tell me that something's wrong or I need to adjust or something. And that's, I don't want people to think I'm fake by any means. I have a great personality, right?
Yeah.
But it does, it can be questionable when too many people abuse the right, parking plaques, whatnot. People want, the ease of access to accessible parking, so they don't have to walk as far when all reality, they could walk that far, they're just lazy. So I get the fraud prevention and all that just to, make sure that, not too many people are abusing the system. But again, come on, guys. Like,
yeah, but it's enough that they have to put in a wheelchair clinic.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Hey, when I was a kid, I was just at that age where the Vietnam War was winding up, but I still had to go and register for the draft.
You're like, okay,
which is
throw me.
That's kind of funny in and of itself. But I at that age I had neighbors that would tell me, people do anything to get out of going to the draft. Well, like I had a long game. I started this at a year old,
you were planning for future wars.
For 15, 17 years I was planning just to get out of this. Doesn't even make sense.
That was a lot of work, Doug. I mean, there's easier ways. I mean, it's the same way. Like, you guys probably don't travel as much, like east to west. Obviously, like I fly a lot for work or going home or whatever. And the looks I get from people especially because a lot of times, like, I'll bring my walker instead of my chair because I'm deathly afraid that they're going to mess up my chair. Yeah. And then, the looks you get when you get the wheelchair service, people are like, you look like you're 12 years old. Why do you need this, Yeah.
And that's, I forgot what Doug said. He said something.
War?
It was war, but that doesn't, I'll go into that topic real quick. I would love, strap me up with some machine guns and let me go to battle. Cause I think that's something that, and I guess that goes back to jobs too, is that, hey, we as, the community want jobs. We definitely want to work. And being able to get hired is extremely hard. And I'm sure, as we all know, the new DEI, bans and all that are making it extremely difficult. But we want to work. I mean, I would love to work. I don't want to have to, per se, go to school and get a degree and all that. But give me a job that I can do with my disability. And I would love to work. I would love to, put my time and effort into that so that I have money so I can go and buy these expensive things that, you want to draw prices for. But we do want to work. And that's another thing is it's hard to get a job nowadays.
Totally.
Well, and I think they need to kind of reevaluate, the limitations on benefits if you work too much, so
for sure.
Yeah, they make that very difficult.
I feel like we've had many conversations about that because the limit is so little if you want to still get your benefits, but it's not like you don't need the benefits anyways. That I'm stumped about how the country works in that way. Even being like self-employed, that flabbergasted me about like how the tax is so much higher for self-employment. Tax is like, no, you should get a round of applause for making a job for yourself and not not just sitting there and waiting for something.
Right.
Like, Yeah.
And when you look at it, like in all reality, these taxes are supposed to go back towards us, right? And back towards our country. Well, as a disabled person, one of the biggest things is accessibility. And, I ride a lot in my chair, and these sidewalks, for all the taxes that the people pay, they're not fixed. And, if you're going to tax people and quote that you're going to, hey, I'm going to, fix all this stuff, and, well, put those taxes where it's supposed to go, not in the politician's pocket per se.
No, yeah, not at all. Or
put a sidewalk where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or their friends' pockets.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't get into any particular issues, but you see when there's millions and millions of dollars spent on something and that particular problem is only getting worse.
Right.
But like you say, day-to-day things, which we all use,
right.
Should be
You're
maintained.
rolling in traffic because there's no sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. No. And, I tell people the story that I broke my shoulder that way. And that was because sidewalks weren't great. And I was driving in the bike lane and there was a bunch of leaves and, big stick underneath it. Couldn't see it. I'm going 6.7 miles an hour in my power chair because I go fast everywhere. I'm trying to hustle where I got to go. I drive over that stick, my chair tips to my left side, and I fall in a power chair and break my shoulder. Like, that just is unacceptable to me because, I shouldn't have to suffer or, put myself at risk in traffic to be able to get somewhere on the go when the sidewalks are not good and there's cracks and tree stumps and stuff blocking us and anybody else from, safely walking on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
We could do an hour on that kind of stuff.
I know. Look out. We have entered the chamber, the echo chamber.
Exactly.
So I know you have an interest in photography. Is that something you could pursue?
Yeah. So photography and videography are things that I, have done. I never wanted to be in photos. I don't like taking photos before my injury. And now, I believe capturing every moment of, anything is amazing. And I had to upgrade my phone because I was taking so many photos. I didn't have enough storage for all my photos and stuff. But yeah, I love it. I mean, I have offered, a variety of people to, do videos and stuff for them. And it's something that I would definitely consider. Again, like we've talked about, keeping that, what is that capstone of how much we can, actually take in and still get our, benefits is what weighs on my mind a lot when I think about a job or a career or self-employment. Is I do not want to have to risk losing something in order to, be financially off better.
I'm sorry, Niko. Just statistically, we're like statistically 20% of people have a disability, and the buying power of that group of people is in the trillions of dollars. So we're definitely a viable market. If for any one of us, if we were to pursue anything, I think if we could capture that market alone, if say you became a photographer and you marketed yourself to that group especially and specifically, somebody's getting married who has a disability, would you like to have a disabled photographer as your event? And if we were to kind of get together as a community, I'm just spitballing here, but we could really make that work on our own.
Like Monopoly, a free square. You can have these 5 careers and make as much as you want, as long as.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I believe like it's the movie industry, and I think I actually learned this from like Danny from. He's an actor out and out that's in the disabled community, and he says something like there has to be a disabled advocate basically in that set of the movie or the photo shoot or whatever, because they have to be able to have a disability advocate on the scene. And that was something that I found intriguing because I was like, that's pretty good that it's a thing for us to have to be able to be there whether we're acting it or not, but at least they can ask us, hey, is this the correct way to say this or do this or act out. And I kind of find that to be cool. And like you said, Doug, that would be awesome if we could do that, in just everyday life is,
right.
with the disabled photography. You want a disabled photographer to take your photos? Bet. I'm on it.